Hello, humans of the internet. Welcome to Azurhia Under the Hood. Um, we are still working on ancestries for our awesome game of awesomeness. Um, I'm just going to warn you that I have made a Spotify playlist of all the copyright-free music I can find so that I can actually start whittling it down to the stuff I actually like. So if you hear something that makes you go, ooh, this is awesome, let me know. If you hear something that makes you go, I hate this with every fiber of my being, let me know that too. Either way, I'm probably going to just do what I want because, hi, have you met me? Anyway, we were working through these ancestries and basically just filling in the gaps we had left out. So that's what we're going to do. We're just having to fix the formatting as we go because I changed my mind. That's how I roll. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do is try and stay one ahead of myself. Okay. Please hold one moment. I think I'm allergic to streaming. No, I'm kidding. But it does seem like every time I start streaming, my nose starts running. Alright, so we're basically just working through what we have here and filling in all the gaps that we've not filled in. So we did the bear people. We're moving on to the horsey people. So I'm gonna make them walk further than normal. We've made 40 the standard, I believe. So I'm gonna say 50 because quick, but no climby. I guess they can probably swim. No flying. Alright. Horses all smell, right? Smell or hearing? I feel like it's not a sense. Like I'm gonna just leave them as the standard. Oh. I feel like the benefit of equineness is not in senses, it's in speed. Alright, so special skills. Kinda wanna make them like able to carry insane amounts of weight. Is that silly? So like the problem with this is that I never actually use I'm gonna take that out because I never really use encumbrance and that kind of stuff in the games because I just honestly can't be bothered keeping track of those sorts of things. I know technically you probably should. Yeah, I get why it's a thing, but it's like arrows. I can't be bothered making people count the arrows. I can't be bothered. I'm gonna just assume that if you're an archer, you're making sure you have a good supply of arrows. Similarly, I'm just going to assume that you're not carrying more stuff than you can reasonably carry. It's never been something that's come up as a problem in my games, so possibly because I've never bothered to worry about it. I don't know. It feels like a um limitation on the story, so I've not bothered with it. All right. Do with strength, maybe? Like, sorry, not strength, speed. Like, equine sprint, for example. Ooh, not equi sprint. That's a very cute sounding thing, but it's not the thing I want. So, like, you know, like cheetahs. So, like, Kabili can allows them to run something like that. So it's like super dash, but they can only do it once per short rest, and they need to have a chill to you know, recuperate. All right, I'm just going to I'm just going to look up equines. Equine. That'll do. Equine, please. Thank you. Let's see if anything makes me go, ooh. The term horse is sometimes used colloquially to refer specifically to a stallion. What? I've never heard that. I've never heard that before. Maybe it's like a special horse people thing. Ponies. I want a pony. Can I have a pony? I don't know. Give me something interesting about horses that I don't already know. I do know that they have a skeleton. They technically walk on their toes. Oh, so they do have excellent vision. They have night vision, so I suppose I could give them dark vision then. Jazz makes them nervous. That's hilarious. Calmest in a quiet setting, listening to country or classical music, but displayed signs of nervousness when listening to jazz or rock music. Amazing. Stabled racehorses listening to talk radio had a higher rate of gastric ulcers than horses listening to music. Me too, bro. Oh my god, this is amazing. I kind of want to do something about music now. Okay, I do want to remove songs with lyrics because that distracts me. I'll leave it there for now, but ooh, I just went real croaky. Sorry about that, folks. can sleep standing up. Maybe we make it that they can sleep standing up. I'm not really finding anything interesting here. Climate change, interesting. Okay, that wasn't actually very helpful. However, I have learned that they have dark vision, so things I've learned about horses. I'm just going to blow my nose yet again. I shall mute myself though, so you don't have to hear. You may have noticed that I'm not much of a horse person. I like zebras. Oh, pressing the wrong buttons. I don't know. Maybe we do the beast of burden thing. Maybe I'll come back to it. No, we need something. Let's do this. What's special about equines? They have giant eyes. Oh, I guess we could go the 360 degrees thing. Magical creatures that impart and share beautiful energy with us. Fuck's sake. That's not helpful. They can't breathe through their mouth. I feel like the 360 vision might be a thing. Sorry, I'm thinking. I want to call it something else. I want to call it like heightened. On perception checks to identify it's harder to hide from them is basically what I'm that's what I'm gonna go with. Okay, let's just do this. Alrighty. You know what? I'm just gonna do this because it's gonna bug me. So we're gonna do our weekly formatting mission. So all this music came off of playlists on Spotify that are copyright free or claim to be copyright free. Hopefully they are, because I will be honest, I just trusted them. And it's interesting, the variety. Like, forgive me for putting it this way, but this feels like a real song. You know what I mean by a real song? Like, you know, it is a real song, obviously, but you know what I mean. Like, the other thing I've been thinking about doing is getting permission from people who I know who are musicians, to play their stuff. Like, I have a friend who is an opera singer, and I wonder if she would let me just play her music on my streams. Imagine Excel spreadsheeting to opera. I think it would be great. And Will, who played Ardbeg and Axel in The Horde, is a drummer in a band, so he has music. And Adam's brother has had various bands in his lifetime. I know a few people who are who are musicians and potentially have stuff on the Spotify. But you would have to get permission, and I feel like it might be an issue because of the algorithm. Like, even if you have permission to use the music. Excel to opera with Jax. Yes, exactly. I remember telling Kyle about that, and he had a major like fanboy moment because she's one of his favorite opera singers, and I was like, oh yeah, we went to university together. Like, we're mates. I haven't seen her in years, but I still follow her and her career and stuff, and she's an awesome person. Oh, yes. Ah, we caught up. Excellent. Okay. Whee! Good morning, Matt. How are you today? I was doing it as I went along, but then I decided that I would just get it done all the way down, and then we can just focus on what we're doing. Scroll, 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 scroll back to the top. Okay. I'm just getting a little tired of like the, super generic copyright jazz that you always get on these things. So I'm branching out and trying to build myself a collection or a playlist. Allergies are getting the better of me, otherwise I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm struggling this morning too. I'm real like croaky and snuffly and stuff, so apologies for that. But it's autumn here, which is, I've started getting sick. Well, I was sick earlier in the week. I work with tiny plague rats, so it is inevitable at this time of year. I should probably go and get a flu jab. But I haven't got around to it. I haven't got around to it. And the mornings are much colder now, so I'm definitely getting croaky and whatever, snuffly and stuff. Anyway, so I was saying earlier that I have gone onto Spotify and found a bunch of different playlists of copyright-free music and just jammed them all onto one playlist so that we can kind of just listen to it and curate it as we go. So I'll probably remove things if they're real shit or if they're very distracting, which is often the case with songs with lyrics. I get distracted by lyrics very easily. So I usually work to like EDM or nothing, depending on the kind of work I'm doing. Like this sort of stuff is, I can do anything well, and I'm just doing formatting. But if I'm doing like actually writing or things like that, I need it to not have lyrics, otherwise I am singing along and not working. I apologize for my frog impersonation, but I don't seem to be able to get rid of it, so I'm just gonna be all husky. Pretend like it's on purpose. Go for that husky thing. Just pretend I'm a blues singer. We're nearly there. Okay, excellent. And the last thing we're going to do is just do a format paint onto all of these. And most of them are actually already Or the ones we've done are, anyway. But this should just mean that when we get there, we can just fill it in with the info. Hey Matt, what do you know about horses or equines? Do you know anything interesting about them? Because I was struggling to come up with skills and feats for them. I've done some. We'll go back and show you. But interestingly, I am an animal person, but I've never had that much to do with horses. I had a friend at university who was a very, very horsey person. He, I think, still works in the industry. He breeds horses for, like, you know, does shows and all that business. He got me on a horse a couple of times, tried to get me into it. It's not that I'm averse. I just have not had a lot of experience with them, I guess. So, I don't know a lot of interesting things about them. I know interesting things about zebras, because Africa. I say that like everyone in Africa knows about zebras, because my father took me to game reserves all the time when I was little, when I was a child and a teenager. Now that I don't live in South Africa anymore, I realize how deeply, deeply privileged I was to have that experience. Like, I remember Dad being like, let's go to the game reserve this weekend, and us being like, again. And now I'm like, there are people whose entire bucket list is just, I want to go to a game reserve. And I was like, another game reserve? Teenagers are so dumb. I did not appreciate how lucky I was to have that just on my doorstep. Ugh, there's so many of them. Why did I make so many ancestries? Okay. Excellent. Back up we go. Right. So, we were at the Kabeli. I had basically that they can run real fast and they're good at spotting threats. That's pretty much what I came up with. So, Cambions are essentially tieflings. We're going to give them dark vision. They already have wings, so their walking speed is going to be standard. Their climb speed is going to be standard. Their swim speed is going to be standard. Their initial flight speed is... no. So their flight speed will be the same as their walk speed once they have it. It's the length of time that they can fly that levels up as they do. Alright. What is normal tiefling stuff? You don't get like... They're called something different in Pathfinder now, aren't they? This is what I want, because I want to know. not on this list. What did they used to be called? I mean, sorry, what did they change them to? Because they changed them to something, I think. Gnome, goblin, halfling, human, leshy. For the same reason that I'm not using the word tiefling. Because I don't want to be sued by wizards. Being dumb. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, it's because it's a thingy from human, I think. Summon fiends, nah. I want something that's like law, devilish wiles. Malicious bane. I mean, it might be fun to be like, you can just curse people like once a day, but you don't even realize you can do it. You can just do it. Like only when you're really mad, but because it would be interesting. I guess that's interesting to me because it would be interesting that your blood contains the ability to curse. But if you're a really nice person, like Lorelai is a tiefling, but is a really nice person, Pete is a tiefling, but is a really nice person, you've got to like learn how to manage that so that you don't do it by mistake. But as a child, you would just like do it by mistake. That's kind of what I was thinking. Final form. Right at the start, bro. Okay, so if we go back to character creation, ancestries, and we go to versatile heritages. Guys, yeah, that's what. Okay, feet. Let's try this. Let's try this. What are they called? Nephilim. Okay. Intuitive crafting, irrepressible. You know the secrets of the multiverse. All of them. You know all the secrets. Well, flexibility could be interesting. Oh, we could do a resistance. Like heat resistance would make some sense. Maybe that's where we would go with that. Seems a bit overpowered. Yeah, totally. Like I know all the things. I am Doctor Strange. Elzrin would have taken it. Yeah. Dancing Shadow would have taken it too. Who you guys met briefly in season 1. Camions are resistant to heat and take half damage. When they take fire damage, they take only half. That makes sense. Okay, changelings. Okay, I can't look this up because I made this up. So much depends on. They're gonna have dark vision because there's some elf there. Smell is standard. Hearing is standard. They sense a kinship with which is the thing Jade did with Steve. Because Jade's Archfey ancestor is directly connected to Trickster Fae, and therefore Jade took one look at Steve and went, "Oh yeah, you're clearly the descendant of a Trickster Fae." Elzrin would have taken it or pretended to have it. More likely the second. Okay, Chinini, tiny fair beings who traditionally live mostly in forests. Ah yes, this was the child's invention. Oh wait, did I do? So their speeds are pretty much the same. Okay, and they are medium. Oh, did I do the sizes on the other ones? I don't believe I did. Okay, let's go up a bit. Baloo medium, Kabili. Okay, Janini. They can't work very fast. They're little, but they can climb very, very well. And they can swim very, very well, but they cannot fly. 0 flying. Okay, we have dark vision because we are Fae. Alright, they have a vision field. That disinclines larger folk from approaching or noticing them. It only works as long as they are conspicuous and is broken if they touch someone or make loud and obvious noises. Okay. Kind of want to give them like the thing I'm thinking is, you know how like ants can fall an insane distance and not be hurt by it, right? Because they're so little. Like a similar sort of thing. Like they can, if they fall from high places, they're able to. avoid fall damage. Yeah. Is that why ants don't hurt themselves? Because I don't know why ants don't hurt themselves when they fall. Do ants not hurt? I've just always assumed they don't. I don't know if I'm right about that. I'm going to ask the Google. Let us ask the Google. Do ants... Wow, the things I Google when I do this. Do ants hurt themselves when they fall? They don't take damage from falling. Huh. See, that was my... Oh, because their terminal velocity is so... I see. That's cool. Okay. Yeah, so that makes sense, right? Alright, that's what we're going with. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Due to their small size, Janini do not take full damage. They can fall from any height and be safely. There we go. I spelled it wrong. Yes, my eyes are in the wrong place. I was like, that doesn't look right. Janini. There we go. Awesome. Excellent. Okay. Dika are similar to androids but created from plants and nature magic. Common in places with a high ratio of druids. Alright, so these guys are probably medium for the most part. Speed. Probably normal climb speed. Alright. I'm trying to think of like what special senses essentially plant people would have. Because I feel like they would have something. Like, I don't know. I'll come back to it. But here I want to do how do plants interact with the world? Like I'm imagining something that's like echolocation but with light. That's kind of where my brain is at. Can send scents that tell other plants what they're feeling. Oh, like, yeah. It's only useful if you're interacting with other, you know, Dika. Well, maybe that's what we do. Maybe it's like a sensory communication between other beings of their own kind. That seems like a reasonable first level. Sounds super intimate, but you know. Alright, dryads, medium in their humanoid form. they can walk a normal amount of time. What about an ability to sense the source of sun or radiant light? Oh, that's a good one. But maybe that's a developed. I don't really want to get rid of either of those. But maybe this. That's probably more useful than this one, to be honest. They always know the direction of the sun. That's a straightforward thing. They always know the direction of the sun, so if they know what time of day it is, they can tell direction by that, which is a useful skill, especially if you're like in a cave. But you also have to know kind of what time of day it is. Like you have to keep track of that. But they always know where suns. We have two. All right, dryads. Okay. I'm gonna give them this as well. They're not that different to that. And probably that too, because let's face it, that makes sense. Okay, dryads are technically phased, so I'm gonna give them dark vision. It's very tempted to just start them off from the same kind of place, because they are very similar. It's just that one is naturally made and one is artificially created. I just do that. That makes sense to me. Okay, desert dwarves. So they are small. Walk speed is slightly less than the average. Okay. It would make finding the path out of the underground easier. Yes, totally. Totally. But it also means that if you're in a place where you don't know what direction you're in, like you can tell direction based on the suns, as long as you know the time of day, I guess, and the time of year. Because you'd be able to go, that's the east. It's the morning, and that's where the sun is. So that, or yeah, something along those lines. Okay. It would definitely lend them towards things like rangers. Sandfeet. Junaka can walk comfortably on the surface of any sand. Without sinking or struggling, they are immune to and kind of want to give them natural ability to retain hydration. So like, like Freeman. Don't get me started on June. I realize I started myself on June, but I have opinions. I have opinions. I've not seen the movies, but I've read the books. And I feel like a lot of a certain kind of book, there are a lot of people who see a hero where I do not see a hero. And I don't think Paul Atreides was meant to be a hero, folks. I think he was meant to be a cautionary tale. And then people were like, but he's so cool. And I'm like, no, you've missed the point. Like or do not like. I think that they are interesting books. I enjoyed reading them. But I feel like I interpreted them very differently to how a lot of people do. I don't think there are really any good guys in those books. Everybody seems to be a dick. And I feel like if you've read all the way... Spoilers! If you've read all the way to the 4th book, which is the main Dune series, I know there's a bunch of like spin-off stuff after that, but the 4 books, it is so clear in the 4th book, without giving too much away, that Paul's son, kind of, his son does. His son, grandson? There are the twins. And the boy of the twins essentially becomes a big fucking sandworm. And he is so obviously a tyrant. Like, he's so obviously a tyrant. It's God Emperor of Dune, and he is the God Emperor, and it's just like, it's such a clear... The whole thing with Paul Atreides in the first book, or the first 2 books, is that he can see through time, and he can see the outcomes of the things that are going to happen. And he sees how his own actions are going to essentially lead to jihad. Like, they use the word jihad. That's a religious war, folks. And he does it anyway. And I'm like... and there's a sense that he doesn't have a choice in the matter. But I don't buy it. I don't buy it, because you always have a choice. Sorry, I'm just going to turn that down a little bit. And it feels like, as someone who grew up, or as someone who has studied a lot of post-colonial literature, yes, very much so. And suffers from similar issues, except that Paul, I think, is much more human. And so he succumbs to just sort of letting the destiny happen to him. And there is a sense as you go through the books that he has regret about that, and that he feels like he has been swept along by his destiny and he didn't have any choices. But it's I don't know. I feel like it's a lot more nuanced and complicated than most people's interpretation of it seems to be. And when people are like, gosh, he's a hero, and I'm like, he's not though, and he's not even. I don't think he's meant to be. I don't think you're meant to see him as a hero. Anyway, that's my literary theorizing for the day. What are we doing? Oh yes, Freeman. That's why we started talking about June. Didn't we had this for something else, didn't we? Where we were gonna have, was it like the camel people? We had like a hydration, the ability to. Sure, we did this already once. Duncan Idaho returns. Yeah, Idaho's he's such an interesting character. And that again, when you get all the way through to the 4th book, it is just heartbreaking what they do to him. Like, yeah. I think that Paul desperately wants Duncan to be real. And so because it's like this callback to when he was just a person. It's Duncan is probably the character I feel the most sympathy for, because I think that he really does try to be a better person, and he just keeps getting squashed by the environment he's in. And I keep bringing him back. If you've not read Dune, there's a lot of spoilers in this conversation. Sorry about that. Spoilers for the next 2 movies, but you can get those spoilers by reading the books. Or however many movies they're going to still do. I don't know. Okay, I thought we'd done a thing about water with the camel folk. Did we not do that? Am I remembering wrong? Because I remember a whole conversation about water retention and how that's not what we were going to call it. I kind of just want to use the same thing. Poison resistance. Desert survival. That's the one. Well, they've been warned. We're going to keep talking about it now because now I want to talk about Duncan. Basically what happens to Duncan is he dies really early in the story, and then he is essentially, they clone him, I guess. Paul's enemies clone him and send him as a spy, basically. And Paul knows that that's what they've done, and he understands that Duncan is essentially a spy, but he still accepts the gift, because Duncan in many ways was a massive father figure to him, and so I think he just desperately, there's like that child in him that still just wants someone he can rely on. And Idaho, if I remember correctly, it's been a while, but if I remember correctly, he kind of unlocks his Duncan memories, and he starts, and his loyalties shift. So they keep regenerating him. So every time he dies or is killed, they make a new one. And every single time Duncan gets to a certain point where he finds himself again. And almost every time that happens, he rebels because he recognizes what's happening. And he ends up being the partner / husband / whatever of Paul's sister, whose name I can't remember, something with an A. One of his, I think the first clone is her person. And then there's this ongoing cycle of him remembering to love her, and then remembering that because she's also super fucked up. And even right to the 4th book, like, Paul's son or grandson, whatever he is still getting new Duncan clones and bringing them in. And every time he comes in, and he eventually figures out that, what is his name? Something with an L? Leo? Light. It's Paul's father's name, right? Anyway, that he's a tyrant, and he rebels every time, and then he gets killed, and another one comes, and it's just like this cycle of him being brought in as a clone, gradually, like, going through the self-awareness journey. Leto, thank you, yes. The self-awareness journey, realizing how fucked up everything is, trying to do something about it, and being cut down, and then it starts again. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It's a terror. And the fact that the Atreides would do that to someone who was a friend and father figure and trainer of Paul when he was a child tells you everything you need to know about them, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, anyway, okay. If Falahi are blue-skinned people, they reincarnate on death but are born with their memories locked and must unlock them over time. Very rare, originate from a single small community on an island in the Silsilids. Traditionally, the expectation is that they will work to unlock their memories of past lives in order to learn and improve in each lifetime. They tend to hold very long views on most issues, as they are aware that for better or worse they will have to live with the consequences. Okay. Whoa, what is happening there? Standard. Okay, so skills and feats. This is hard because everything about these people is kind of mental. um, Maybe we give them resistance to mental damage. Gives them resistance to mental damage. They take only half damage. Okay. I could do the negatives like Pathfinder does, but I actually think that resistance should count. And if you are taking a -5 to resist to a particular kind of damage, at level 1, that's massive. At level 15, it's a pittance. It's nothing. So, okay, these guys are medium. Oh, did we do that with the last ones? Yes. They have standard speeds. I feel like we should do something with the memories, but I actually don't think that should be a skill or like feat connected. It should be story based. That the memories get unlocked as part of the story. Weird psychic powers. Maybe. Reading auras, object histories. I suppose if we did it as like a very basic level, like that, I don't remember what it's called in Pathfinder, but the thing where they can get just like an emotion from a thing. I think that Jaya had it. Do your hands get hurt? Okay. It's part of the psychic, I think. Oh, no, go back. Go back. You know what I'm talking about? I don't remember what it was called. I don't know if it was a feat she took or if it's a standard thing. It was the thing that let her like psychometry. I think that's just the word for what we're talking about, right? Okay, we'll make it up. That is what it's called in D&D. Oh, yeah. I'm going to call it psychic reading. Can sense trying to figure out how to word it. If ally are able to strong emotions of objects or items that have been well, you're not going to get much from an emotion. Like if you you find a ring and you're like, ah, this ring has happy vibes. That's pretty much all we're talking about. Or like at this level, we're talking about a level 1 ability essentially. So this is something which if they pursued it or followed that like psychic route, they could potentially expand or improve on it. But at its base, it's literally just like picking up a thing and going, ah, this thing feels angry. Then they know that that item has had some kind of connection to angriness. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Did that make sense? I don't know. Because I don't want these things to be too... These are things that like a child of that particular ancestry would be able to do regardless of where they were brought up. So if you know, a Efalahi was raised by random humans as a child, they would still be able to do this thing. That's kind of what I'm getting at. It shouldn't be stuff that is based on environment or community. It should be based on intrinsic, natural things. And I think that that kind of psychic sensitivity is probably a better word, is something that could exist without, regardless of your environment. Okay. What have we given other elves? Have we done any elves yet? Trying to make sure we're kind of being consistent. This sounds very Imagine Dragons-y. I like it. But it's also distracting me. Maybe we haven't done the elves yet. Okay. So we're going to give them cold resistance, because that makes sense. I suppose we could give them Legolas legs. Essentially this, but with snow. The temptation to call them Legolas legs. Light-footed, yeah. Resistance to cold. Take half cold damage. What I kind of want to do is just go, let's do this. Resistance means half damage, advantage on checks against what am I trying to say? So advantage on checks and saving throws, half damage, basically, is what I'm getting at. Because that way we can just say resistance. This is what resistance means. Whee! Alright. Climb speed. Air resistance is a different thing. Burrowing, natural defense, money, touch, regen, disease immunity, bear claws. Because then we can just say that. And I don't need to specify every single time. Alright. Rodent folk. Definitely dark vision. Definitely a heightened smell, which we have here somewhere. I'm just going to copy it. Are you? I know. Given somebody this before. Hey, you know what we could do? We could just work our way through all of these. Tempting to give them burrowing. I know we've given burrowing to somebody else. Hedgehogs, I think. Got burrowing. They are small. They can walk. They're still quick. An iron stomach. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. They already have a +1 to con, but yeah, like resistance to poison, maybe? No, because you kill rodents with poison. That doesn't make sense. But yes, I get what you're saying. Could just call it iron stomach. Needed one of them on the Mike and Ed mission where they made you eat gross things. Well, I don't know about, because typically that's how you get rid of rodents, is with poison. So why would you do that if they're naturally resistant to it? But nah, but I like this, that they can eat, like, they can eat anything, and they're fine. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I need to change it up because I'm getting bored, and when I get bored, bad things happen. I am going to go through and figure out who gets dark vision. We're just going to do a copy pasta here. So anyone who is an elf or fae, that probably includes, well, actually no, I'm not going to give gnomes dark vision. Goblins definitely. Oi! Ugh. Dwarfs, yes. Frogs. I assume so. Halflings, no. Hobs, fae, yes. Humans, no. Fire people, no. They make their own light. Definitely yes. Fish. I don't know about fish. Maybe not. Elemental wood, no. Tortoises, no. Elephants and hippos? I don't know if they have dark vision. Elves, definitely, yes. Yes, because fae. Kobolds, yes. Pigs, no. Rabbits, probably. Elves, yes. Canines, yes. Yes. Nines, definitely. And no Tomorrow. Snakes are more smell than thing. No. Birds. Depends on the bird. Orcs. Probably yes. Rocks, no. Marsupials. Probably yes. Yes. Camels, no. No. Elves, yes. All elves. Nah. Rhinos are famously, oh, the word disease. Yeah, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. But also, they would probably, it would be very difficult to disease them in the first place. Bovines, no. Maybe not. Maybe not. What about rhinos? Famously don't have good eyesight. Is that a true thing? Uncertain. But traditionally they are supposed to be not have great eyesight. That's all I was going to say. I was giving them dark vision because their eyesight's shit. Is what I was getting at. I'm going to give them definitely dark vision. Otters, pandas, blah blah. Well, maybe actually. Bats, yes. Nope. Okay. I reserve the right to change any of this once I have a bit, when I actually look the animal up and go, oh, they do have dark vision, which could happen. Because I feel like a lot of these things are going to be like fuck low light. Let's just do one or the other. Yes or no. It's easier if it's yes or no. Okay. See, we've done that before, the pheromone thing. This is why I want to do it this way, because it means that we're being consistent. So, tremor sense, no, that's not going to be often, but some of the animals probably yes. Bears, no. Equines, no. Probably only going to be very specific animal beings that would have tremor sense, but frogs, not. Star elves, kitsune, kobold. Thinking like the rock people, Oreads, would have tremor sense, but most people are not going to have tremor sense. Snakes, nah. Mollusks. Kind of makes sense to me. Why? I don't know what to tell you. It just does in my brain. Rocks, definitely yes. Marsupials, dwarves, elemental earth, yes. Mammals, no. Plants, no. Sea elves, no. Rhinos, no. That's why I have echolocation, obviously. Alright. Meow. Okay, and then pheromone sense is the thing we've done. So that is emotions from smell. So I reckon we do that for the plant peeps as well. There too. Frogs. Very chill music and it's making me sleepy. Sleepy. Feet. Legs, yes. I don't know that much about marsupials. Basically just anything that is connected to plants, or if it's an animal that would be operating on like a pheromone sort of basis. Specifically. Not mushrooms though. that feels different to me. Alright. Just feels like you should have a limited number of sense things, and we may as well just go and figure out who has what. Heightened smell. Again, this is going to be mostly animal. Beings who are based on animals that are predominantly smell. Fish, not. Elephants. I have no idea what pig's primary sense is. Rabbits, they sniff, eh? Definitely canines. Definitely felines. Primates. I feel like their special thing is the like you know, being able to move, and pigs depend on smell, do they? I don't know a lot about pigs. But on pigs. We'll go back. We'll go back. There, maybe not. Maybe not. I have horrible eyesight. Bovines have got to be smell, right? Or hearing? I don't know. I don't know. Hyenas definitely would have heightened smell. Oh, yeah, I haven't had a lot of interaction with pigs. We had pigs at the zoo when I was there. I've got to go find them again. Marsupials are kind of like, I don't know a lot about marsupials because like it's just Australia, right? And I've only spent a minimal amount of time in Australia. Um, I really just know. There we go. I really just know, like, oh, because they find truffles. Hey, yeah, that's a thing. I really just know, like, you know, the basic stuff everybody knows about marsupials. All right. So that was heightened smell. My dad would not let me feed the pigs because he thought they might actually bite my hand off due to their bad eyesight. Wow, that's terrifying. Is anyone else who should have sensitivity to heat? Let's have a quick look. Well, we have this lovely table for quickness. Spiders, lizards, shrews, like burrowing things. Things what burrow would have that particular thing. And maybe I was really young. I mean, you know, there's famously, if you want to get rid of a dead body, you feed it to pigs, right? Because pigs will eat anything. So I can see that. We had at the zoo, we had kunikunis, which are big, big pigs, and people often were trying to, they are because they're rodents, would like try to pet them and stuff, and we were like, that thing will bite you, and it will not be a pleasant experience for you. Yeah. Okay, sensitivity. Is that what we're doing? Sensitivity to heat. So um, reptilian type things, basically, is what we're talking about here. Desert dwarves. Elves. Rodents? Nah. Gnomes, goblins. Froggies. Are froggies cold-blooded? Froggies are cold-blooded, right? Do they bask? I think they do bask. Let's give them that thing. I say froggies. I love froggies. They're cute. Fishies? I know fish are cold-blooded, but I don't know about the heat thing. I don't think that makes sense. What are you? Tortoises. Tortoises bask. Or turtles bask. I don't know if tortoises bask. My dad seemed unconcerned about the chickens chasing me, however. Well, chickens believe that they are dinosaurs. We have a chicken, and she totally thinks she's a dinosaur. We have a rescue chicken. She just showed up one day. We have a rescue fish. How many people do you know who have rescue fish? I have a rescue fish. All our animals are rescue animals, is the thing that I have realized recently, because I was talking about it yesterday with someone at work, how all our animals are rescue animals, including the fish. I was telling her how we get all our animals, and she was like, man, they're just drawn to you. And I'm like, yep, does seem that way. The first time of, yeah, it was at one of the centers I work at, and nobody really knew how to look after it properly, and it was getting water burn because they weren't conditioning the water, and it was just a bad time. So I adopted it and brought it home and put it in our big gigantic tank that had nothing in it. Had to clean the tank out, and yeah, rescued the fish. So now we have a rescue fish. Anyway, that was my timer, so I need to stop now. But this has been fun. I like this part. This part is more fun than many other parts. But I think that maybe the way to go is to, at least with the senses, designate specific like frameworks for them, like the height and smell, and so that we get that consistency. Otherwise, as I go through, I'm going to be giving some people advantage and some people +2s. And I know that last week I said that depends, and sometimes it feels like that's right, and I maintain that is true, but it'll give us, I feel like it's better to have a consistent framework and then tweak it than to come at it from a super roundabout way. Anyway, thanks for hanging with me. Always a pleasure. And yeah, this is I feel like we're getting somewhere, and I also feel like we're going to be able to move on to the actual class skill tree stuff fairly soon. And when we start doing that, we're going to be probably looking at playtesting on a very basic level. Some of the things, I think you are correct in your assessment. I'm not sure which assessment you mean. Oh, the scaffold and then tweak rather than the other way. Yeah, and because what I essentially want to do is build the like basic level 1 stage of the way we're doing the skill trees, and then playtest it before we get too deep into it, so that we can find the issues sooner rather than later and adjust them. And then basically build on that, playtest it, build on that, playtest it. That's kind of my plan. So those of you who are watching these on the regular, you're going to be my first port of call for playtesting because you've been here through it all. So hopefully you will be willing to come and experiment with me. Because sometimes the best way to build something is to just workshop it. Fuck around and find out. So that's what we will be doing. As always, thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll be back this afternoon for Jax is Not a Gamer over on Twitch, and next week for more of Azurhia. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, have a beautiful time zone. See you next time.